Cool.
Welcome to Influence Interview, where my mission is to introduce you to people who will have a positive impact on your practice because of their expertise, their experience, and their example of great leadership. I am excited to introduce to you today's guest. She enjoys helping clients and prospects take advantage of the tax code with engineering-based cost segregation studies. Welcome, Carole Stabile.
Laura, thank you so much for having me on today. I'm always happy to share this bit of information because people don't always know about cost segregation. You'd think they would, or people say, oh, my CPA takes care of all of my tax savings for me, but it's not always obvious. Your CPA's job is to make sure that you don't make any mistakes, that you pay things on time, that everything's recorded correctly, but they're not always going to tell you about cost segregation because most of them don't do it. The majority of my clients are CPAs. We do these studies for their clients. Okay. So it's because it's a very niche business. It's complicated, and we happen to have great expertise. My company's been around. CSSI, cost segregation, has been around for over 20 years. We've done over 40,000 cost segregation studies. We have never triggered an audit, not once. Okay. If our clients,
not too many people can say that.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. If a client is audited for some reason, other than, the cost seg study, which never happens, we'll support the cost segregation study fully, and that's included in the cost of in the fee. So if you need us, we're there, but hopefully you'll never need us.
Well, I love that. Let's get down to the nitty gritty on what cost segregation actually is, because I'm new to this too. Meeting you a few weeks back got me kind of excited on the value that it can have for my clients and my audience. And my audience is comprised of not only dentists, but also other dental consultants and professionals that anyone who owns their commercial building, right, this can benefit.
Well, not only do they have to own their commercial building, but if they've leased the space and spent a whole big chunk of change on fitting it out, which dental offices are so expensive, then all cost segregation does is accelerate the depreciation on the property. So in an office building, you have straight line depreciation of 39 years. You take 1/39th off every year. Okay. However, with a cost segregation study, it's an engineered study. It's not an accounting study. And what it does is pull out the things that depreciate faster than 39 years. Wall coverings, crown moldings, water lines, electric lines, things that can go into 5-year, 7-year, 15-year depreciation. And it puts it all into an accelerated chart, an accelerated program that allows you to deduct it. So it's worth between $60,000 and $80,000 cash per $1 million of property. It's about how it works out.
Wow.
So if you've bought $1 million building, you're looking at cash that you can keep of, say, $80,000, and it's all about the time value of money. You're going to pay the same amount of depreciation over time, but you just get to write it all off up front, get a nice big loss, and that's how it works. Let me show you a dental office case study. And I think that might be the best way to go. So let me just open this up here. And this will just sort of show how this looks. Okay, so let's say you've got a dental office here and you've bought the building less the land. Land doesn't depreciate, so you deduct out. Usually we use about 20% for land. You take that out. So it's $1 million, 1,500,000. Building square feet's 6,700, pretty typical for a small medical building. And this was a building that was acquired in 2020. And we're using a 37.0% tax rate. Your tax rate may be lower. Hopefully it's not higher. And that's about what's happening. And the present value of the rate of return we use is 8%. So the total tax savings benefit by accelerating the depreciation in the first year is $236,000. So we push $236,000 of value into the first year. And then net over 10 years is another 194,000. Basically, what it does is it says you can put this money into an investment, keep cash, buy more equipment, do whatever with it, and it'll let you have that much value by keeping it. And the other thing that's not in this little sheet is about what the tax value is. So at the 37% rate, you're looking at deducting $87,000 off of your taxes. So it's $87,000 that you keep in your pocket. You're still going to be paying, you're still going to be depreciating your property every year. You're just going to depreciate a little bit less because you've taken that big hit the first year.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes perfect sense. Wow, that's a big chunk of money. And you're right, the holding costs on I mean, why make the government richer? I think it should go in your pocket.
Exactly. Our tagline is, it's your money, you might as well keep it. You know?
Right.
And you know, cash is king. It's money to do whatever you want to do with. You can, you know, take a trip, or you can buy another practice, or you can just not pay it to the IRS.
Right. I love
A whole
that.
lot better things you can do with it.
So what's the process look like? Like, how do they start this process?
Okay, I need 3 pieces of information, actually 4 pieces of information to get an estimate to the prospect. And our estimates are very conservative. Your results are generally going to be better. But I need to know the month and year you bought it, the type of building that it is, and let's see, month and year you bought it, the type of building, and what you paid for it. And then the 4th thing is if you've spent any significant dollars on improvements.
Okay.
So those pieces of information are all I need to get an estimate to you. You get the estimate. Then if you want to engage us, you're going to pay a fee to get the study done. Usually the ROI is higher than 15 to 1. Sometimes it's 40 to 1. Sometimes it's 6. It just depends on, you know, what the results are. But you give us the deposit. We get started on the study. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks. We'll need some information. We'll need to know if there's any appraisals, if there's blueprints, if there's, you know, just all of the general information about the property. We'll get that information, do it. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks to get a study done. We deliver the study. Your accountant attaches it to your tax return, and we're done.
That is fantastic. Okay, so it should be done through you initially. Those first steps should be done with you, not necessarily with your accountant.
Oh, right. I'm going to send you an estimate. You're going to review it with your accountant.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds fairly simple. You said 6 to 8 weeks for the process. That's probably a lot of the calculation stuff on your end.
Sure. So we're headquartered in Baton Rouge, Louisiana,
okay,
and all of our engineering staff is there. There is going to be a physical survey of the property done. The IRS requires that there is a physical survey done. So we will go to the property with a surveyor and go and take pictures of everything. All the exterior will need access to, like, the electrical closet, stuff like that. And that's the only physical time you'll see us. Everything else is delivered via email.
This is incredible because many of our practice owners own multiple locations. And so
the more the merrier. Yeah.
Right. I mean, when I'm just thinking of how quickly that dollar amount adds up, how I mean, it seems like I'm new to this thought, but how many people really know about this? Is this kind of new?
It's been around for 22 years.
22 years.
But and the thing is that I never, you know, my background's commercial real estate. I sold office buildings for years and years and years, and I never really knew about it. It wasn't, you know, part of my practice. And my practice was, here's a building, buy it, right? Right. But this is just, it's a really nice way to get cash to buy another property, get cash to do improvements. And the thing is that if you don't use it all up, if you can't use the entire deduction, the entire loss your first year, you just keep using it till you've used it up. So it, you know, it always applies. And if you've owned a building for, you know, 4 or 5 years, it's still good to take a look at it because there's plenty of depreciation left that hasn't happened. So it doesn't have to be that you bought it this year. It can be something that you bought. I just did one in Troy, Michigan for a client who had a $3 million office building, and they'd owned it for 6 years, and it was still valuable to do the cost segregation.
Okay. Okay. So up until what point do you think it's?
It's diminishing. It diminishes because when you're accelerating the depreciation, right?
Of
So
course. Yeah,
you
that
get your
makes sense.
biggest bang early,
Yeah.
but it's still 39 years worth of depreciation so it's a lot, especially that first 5 years. It's really valuable.
Yeah, first 5, I think. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and I love what you said. As you're looking to expand, this is a great opportunity to get some cash out to be able to grow in that way. I love that. Okay,
it's
so
very
what is
conservative too? That's the other thing that I really want to stress. It's like, it seems like it's sort of magical that this cash appears, but it's extremely conservative.
Okay. What is the best way to get in touch with you and learn more about your services?
Email me. Email is Carole with an E at costsegregationservices.com.
I will put that in the show notes for sure.
Yep. Okay, great. And that's just email me again. How much did you pay for it? When did you buy it? Month and year. What type of building is it? And did you put any money into it? How much did you put in? That information is all I need to get you an estimate.
Fantastic.
And if you don't want to do it, if it doesn't make sense, I am the least hot pursuit person you will find. I mean, I'll send you an estimate. I'll say, hey, here's the estimate. A couple of days later, maybe I'll say, what'd you think? Yeah. Do you want it? And then I send a DocuSign to so that they can just sign it and get going. And then the deposit's going to be half of the fee. And then you pay the other half when we deliver it. Right. But the fee is completely deductible.
Wow. That's a really simple process to get your hands on some money. I loved learning more about this. You're an amazing human. I'm super excited that I got to know you. And I will definitely be plugging this everywhere because I don't want anyone to miss out on this opportunity. I just think that
look at it. It's getting an estimate. There's no obligation. Right. It's not like you have to do it, but you should always take a look at it because it's a lot of money.
Yeah. Really, and many of our practice owners do own their building as well. So very exciting stuff. What else would you like to share? Is there anything else that's just like they must know?
I want to share. Well, yeah, just one other thing. If you've bought an Airbnb, a lot of people have bought Airbnbs or they've created VRBOs. There's just a whole lot of money that's available through this process for Airbnb and VRBO as well. So if anybody has an investment property, they should take a look at it, or any of your investment properties.
I am glad you brought that up because many of our clients also are investing in commercial, or excuse me, in residential property opportunities. And so is it kind of handled the same way, or is it
exactly the same way?
Really? Okay.
But the thing is, if you have multiple units within let's say you bought like 6 condos within a 20 condo building, there's economies to scale for getting the studies done. So your cost per study is less expensive because we don't have there's a lot of redundancy.
Right.
So if you do one, it's still worth looking at. But if you have a bunch of them, it gets even better.
Even better. Awesome. Yeah. That was fantastic. Carole, I'm so grateful to have you on our podcast today. We definitely need to do maybe a webinar in the future where we really push to get some people on, because it would be fun to have this conversation with people on the call so they can ask questions too. So let's definitely plan for a webinar in the future.
Oh, that would be great. And then what I might do is invite I'm a salesperson. I am not a delve down deep expert in this, but I'd have like Robert Taylor from my headquarters on the call so that any big tax questions could be
Yeah.
answered by
Oh,
Robert.
that'd be fun. Let's definitely do that. Let's definitely
Okay,
do that. In the
super.
meantime, though, feel free to reach out to Carole, email her. We will put her email in the show notes. And thank you for being a part of this podcast today.
Thank you so much. And I'll give you my phone number. Call me with any questions anytime. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Bye-bye.